When Alaska, The Last Frontier first aired in 2011, few people knew what to expect. It wasn't a show filled with drama, fancy homes, or luxury lifestyles. Instead, it showed something real, a family that lived completely off the land, depending on nature, hard work, and one another. For over a decade, millions of people around the world watched the Kilcher family turn survival into an art form. They built cabins, grew their own food, and faced brutal Alaskan winters without modern conveniences. Each episode felt like a window into a way of life that has almost disappeared in today's fast-paced world. The Kilchers didn't just survive, they showed us how to live with purpose and respect for nature. Now that the show has been on pause since 2022, many fans wonder what happened to the family who inspired so many to appreciate simplicity, strength, and family unity. Their story didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. It continued in even deeper, more meaningful ways. The story of the Kilcher family started long before television. In the 1930s and 1940s, Switzerland was under the shadow of World War II. During that dangerous time, Ule Kilcher, a Swiss scholar who spoke more than 10 languages, and his wife, Ruth Weber, a poet and singer, made a brave decision. They left Europe and moved to Alaska, a land that was wild, remote, and full of promise. Their dream was simple: to build a life based on freedom, nature, and hard work. By 1940, they had settled near Kachemak Bay, an area with no roads, no electricity, and no modern tools. There they built their homestead with their own hands. Ruth raised their children while sewing clothes, washing laundry by hand, and teaching lessons by the light of a kerosene lamp. Over the years, the Kilchers expanded their land and created a home that became a symbol of courage and perseverance. Ule also helped write Alaska's state constitution, and later served as a senator, showing that even people who live far from cities can shape history. From the beginning, the Kilchers' lives were about more than survival. They were about building something lasting. Decades later, the next generations of the Kilcher family would open that same world to the public through Alaska. The Last Frontier. The show premiered on the Discovery Channel in 2011 and ran for 11 seasons. It quickly became one of the network's most popular series. Viewers were fascinated by how the Kilchers lived, raising animals, growing crops, and preparing for the long, freezing winters. The show didn't rely on fancy editing or scripted drama. Its charm came from watching real people solve real problems with creativity and teamwork. Otto Kilcher became famous for his mechanical genius, fixing machines that seemed beyond repair. Ats Kilcher, Ule and Ruth's son, became known for his music and storytelling, sharing songs about life, love, and the Alaskan wilderness. The show was also a platform for Jewel, Ats's daughter, who became a world-famous musician but never lost her deep connection to Alaska. The Last Frontier was more than entertainment. It was a reminder that happiness doesn't always come from technology or wealth, but from purpose, family, and the land beneath our feet. Ats Kilcher, often seen as the heart of the show, lived a life full of challenges and lessons. A Vietnam War veteran, Ats faced years of emotional struggle, including post-traumatic stress disorder. He wrote about these battles in his 2018 memoir, sharing how music helped him heal. On the show, fans saw him as a father figure and storyteller, wise, calm, and deeply connected to nature. But behind the scenes, he was also a man who faced and overcame deep personal pain. Music became his way of expressing those feelings and finding peace. Together with his daughter Jewel, he performed songs about the land, family, and the power of resilience. Even now, Ats continues to live on the family homestead, working with organizations that help veterans and teaching others about strength through creativity. His life shows that being strong doesn't mean avoiding pain. It means learning from it and turning it into something that can help others. Through music and mentorship, Ats has shown that the real frontier isn't just Alaska. It's the journey inside every person. Otto Kilcher, Ule and Ruth's sixth child, became one of the most beloved personalities on the show. Known for his incredible mechanical skills, Otto could turn broken equipment into working machines, using nothing but scraps, a few tools, and his imagination. His motto was simple: nothing is wasted. That philosophy defined his life. Whether it was repairing a snowmobile, creating a new tool, or teaching younger family members how to survive, Otto believed that creativity and knowledge were as important as strength. In 2022, Otto suffered a serious injury when he was trampled by a cow during a snowstorm. A terrifying moment captured on the show. Despite the danger, he recovered and returned to his work, showing once again his determination and love for the homestead life. Today, Otto continues to live and work in Alaska, mentoring younger generations, sharing his expertise, and proving that age doesn't slow down true passion. His life reminds viewers that self-reliance and problem-solving are timeless skills that never lose their value. Among all the Kilchers, Jules stands out as the family's most famous member. Growing up on the homestead, she learned to sing and perform alongside her father, often in local bars across Alaska. Her early life wasn't easy. She lived in a cabin without running water or electricity, but those experiences shaped her music and her message. When she left Alaska to pursue her dreams, she carried with her the values of resilience and independence her family had taught her. Jewel went on to become an international music star, selling millions of albums and performing around the world. Yet, despite her fame, she has always stayed close to her roots. In interviews and concerts, she often speaks about her upbringing, her father, and the lessons she learned from life in the wilderness. Today, Jewel uses her platform to support mental health awareness and inspire others to live authentically. Her success proves that even from the most remote corners of the world, greatness can grow when it's rooted in love, discipline, and courage. When Alaska, the last frontier, went on pause after its 11th season, fans were eager to know how the family was doing. The good news is that the Kilchers are still thriving. The family continues to live on their homestead, tending animals, planting crops, and teaching the next generation. Ats and Otto remain key figures, keeping traditions alive while adapting to modern times. Some younger family members have started careers in education, farming, or environmental work, while others continue to explore art and music. The homestead itself remains the heart of their story, a place filled with history, laughter, and hard work. The Kilchers share occasional updates through social media and interviews, keeping fans connected to their world. Even though television no longer follows them daily, their influence hasn't faded. They continue to inspire viewers everywhere to slow down, appreciate nature, and live with purpose. Their message endures, that life is richest when we live simply, care deeply, and work together. What makes the Kilchers' story so powerful isn't just their hard work, it's their outlook on life. Living in the Alaskan wilderness teaches lessons that go far beyond survival. Every day brings challenges, from harsh weather to mechanical breakdowns, but those challenges shape character. The Kilchers' philosophy centers on self-reliance, respect for nature, and the belief that every task, no matter how small, has meaning. Children are taught from a young age to be independent, creative, and responsible. Mistakes aren't failures but lessons in disguise. The family also believes deeply in community. Each member has a role, and their strength comes from working together. Their lifestyle reminds us that true wealth isn't found in money, but in connection, to the land, to family, and to purpose. For viewers living in busy cities, the Kilchers' story is a breath of fresh air, encouraging people to slow down and find joy in simple, honest living. The Kilcher family's influence has reached far beyond Alaska. Their way of life has inspired thousands to learn about off-grid living, sustainable farming, and environmental care. Online communities, blogs, and workshops often mention the Kilchers as examples of how to live responsibly and creatively. Even though their show ended, their lessons continue to spread through social media, books, and interviews. The family has received recognition for promoting environmental awareness and preserving traditional skills. Ats and Otto have spoken at schools and events, encouraging people to protect nature and respect the earth. Jewel's music also carries the family's message about love, resilience, and hope. Together, they've shown that it's possible to balance old traditions with modern life. Their story proves that sustainability isn't just about technology. It's about values, patience, and care for the world around us. The Kilchers are living proof that one family's example can inspire millions to live with intention. Even after all these years, the Kilcher family continues to represent the spirit of Alaska. Wild, beautiful, and untamed. Their lives are a reminder that real strength comes from facing challenges with courage and grace. Among the younger generation of Kilchers, Eve and Ivan stand out for their strong bond and shared passion for self-sufficiency. Eve, who grew up near the Kilcher homestead, learned early on how to garden, hunt, and preserve food. Skills that became her strength when she married Ivan, Otto's son. Together, they represent the perfect balance between tradition and modern adaptation. On Alaska, the last frontier, fans loved watching them build their cabin from scratch, tend to their vegetable garden, and raise their two children, Sparrow Rose and Findlay. Eve, in particular, became a favorite among viewers for her warmth, practicality, and love for nature. She often reminded audiences that being self-sufficient isn't just about survival, it's about creativity, patience, and gratitude. Ivan, on the other hand, carried his father Otto's mechanical genius, but added his own inventive twist. Whether crafting a new tool from recycled metal or cooking wild-caught salmon over an open fire, Ivan showed that modern innovation could blend beautifully with old-fashioned know-how. Together, Eve and Ivan also wrote a cookbook titled Homestead Kitchen, which became a success among fans. It featured recipes inspired by their life in Alaska, from homemade bread and soups to moose meat and fresh garden vegetables. But more than a recipe book, it was a love letter to their lifestyle, filled with stories about family, hard work, and the joy of living close to the land. Their partnership symbolizes what the last frontier truly means. Not just enduring nature, but thriving with it. Shane Kilcher, another of Atz's sons, became known for his determination and grit. He and his wife Kelly joined the show in its later seasons, bringing a deeper emotional layer to the Kilcher story. Together, they worked tirelessly to build their dream cabin, a process that tested their patience, endurance, and relationship. But what made Shane and Kelly's story so inspiring wasn't just their homesteading skills. It was their ability to face hardship with love and courage. In 2017, Shane suffered a severe accident, breaking his back after falling from a ladder while working on their property. The injury could have ended his homesteading life, but instead, it revealed the true power of family support. Kelly stood by his side every step of the way, helping him through a long and painful recovery. The Kilchers, as always, came together to offer help and encouragement. The show's audience was deeply moved by their resilience. Shane's journey showed that life in Alaska isn't just physically demanding. It's emotionally challenging too. But through persistence, faith, and family unity, they rebuilt both their home and their hope. Today, Shane and Kelly continue to live in Alaska, proving that no obstacle is too great when love and determination are at the core. Atz Lee Kilcher, the youngest son of Atz, inherited his family's adventurous spirit. Before joining the show, he spent years traveling across the country, performing music, and living a free-spirited life. Eventually, he returned to Alaska, realizing that the homestead was not just a piece of land, it was part of his soul. His wife, Jane Kilcher, became one of the most admired women on the show for her toughness and intelligence. A skilled fisherwoman, Jane brought her own expertise to the Kilcher family, often providing fresh fish to feed everyone through the harsh winters. Together, Atz Lee and Jane formed a dynamic duo that balanced risk-taking with responsibility. They built new cabins, hunted in dangerous terrain, and faced the elements head-on. Their relationship wasn't always easy. Life in Alaska brings both physical and emotional tests. But their love for each other and for their way of life kept them strong. In 2015, Atz Lee suffered a near-fatal accident when he fell off a cliff while hiking. The injuries were severe, including multiple broken bones and internal damage. His recovery took months, but Jane's support and his family's care helped him get back on his feet. Fans admired their courage and commitment, seeing them as living proof that true strength lies not in avoiding hardship, but in facing it together. Even after the cameras stopped filming, Atz Lee and Jane continued to live their Alaskan dream, raising their children with the same values that Yule and Ruth taught generations ago. While much of the show focused on hunting, building, and outdoor survival, the women of the Kilcher family were the heart of the homestead. They managed gardens, preserved food, cared for children, and balanced tradition with progress. From Ruth Kilcher's early sacrifices to Eve's modern homesteading skills, their stories reflect quiet strength and creativity. Jane Kilcher, in particular, often spoke about how women in Alaska need to be resourceful and brave, qualities that she embodied both on and off the screen. Eve, meanwhile, reminded viewers that true sustainability begins at home, with small daily choices like growing food, conserving energy, and cooking with care. The Kilcher women also became role models for many viewers who admired their ability to handle the rugged wilderness without losing their warmth or femininity. They showed that strength doesn't mean giving up kindness. It means having the courage to nurture life even in the harshest conditions. Their presence balanced the show's energy, turning it from a story of survival into a celebration of family harmony. Whether they were harvesting vegetables, teaching their children, or supporting their husbands through tough times, these women proved that behind every successful frontier family, there's always a foundation of love, patience, and resilience. One of the most beautiful aspects of Alaska, the last frontier, is the deep respect the Kilchers have for nature. Every mountain, river, and animal holds meaning for them. The show often highlighted how they live in balance with their environment, taking only what they need and giving back whenever possible. Hunting and fishing weren't treated as sport, but as sacred traditions that required gratitude and mindfulness. When they hunted a moose or caught fish for the winter, They always honored the animal's life by using every part: meat, bones, fur, and even organs. This respect for life was a lesson that touched